A little while back, we did a 24-hour endurance event at Sepang Circuit in Little Proger Kalisa. We had to drive around all night with 8 different drivers. Recently, I got an email saying, would you like to come and sample some different kind of race driving? You got to bring one extra co-driver and you need to be at Melbourne helipad at 6 a.m. so we can start the adventure. That's the Yarra River. That is a helipad in the middle of the river, and that is how we're getting to Phillip Island, which is one of Victoria's coolest, most epic and high-speed tracks. And when we get there, well, you'll see.
Every now and again in this weird and wonderful thing we do, you'll get asked if you'd like to do a thing. If the thing involves cars, that's a big tick. If it involves racetracks, that's another big tick. What about 2 racetracks in one day with a helicopter to get you around? Sign me up. So I'm en route to Phillip Island, which is one of the fastest and most picturesque racetracks right on the bottom edge of Australia. And I'm here thanks to Michelin to experience some cars I've never driven before, at speeds I've never done before, with some world-class instructors.
That is the best way I can think of to get to a racetrack. That's normally like, what, a 2-hour drive? 25 minutes and you're here and ready to rock. So let's go drive some cars that I'll likely never be able to afford on some good tyres.
Just like the Carrera Cup, all the cars here run Michelin tyres.
All right, we're gonna kick off the day in a Cayenne. This would be a lot better if there was someone else here that sort of knew a bit about driving and racing and track days. Hello.
Hello, Martin.
Ready to go?
Yes.
Let's go.
We asked Ying to come with us on our Malaysian endurance race, as she's one of the most experienced track drivers we know. She started a Nugget racing series, and most importantly of all, her happy place is a racetrack.
All right, so there's a bunch of safety briefings and stuff that we got to do to make sure we don't crash anything, and then we'll be in the cars.
We did a few sighting passenger laps in a Cayenne, then we jumped into a 911 to get a feel for the track at around half pace. It's a lot to take in, but it will come in very handy when we're at 10 tenths later in the day. The instructors are all current or ex-professional racing drivers and really know their stuff.
Sighting lap done. At speed, it's going to be a totally different animal. But this gentleman here's done it at speed, he reckons I'll be all right. You get a pretty cool experience, which is you drive a bunch of Porsches from the basic 4-cylinder ones right up to the 911s, the craziest GT3 RS cars that they make, doing different things. And we're kicking off with the skid pan, which I'm pretty excited about. It feels like a good warm-up before a track day is to go out and thrash a car on a skid pan. But one of the reasons we're here is because of the Michelin tyres. So the Porsche Carrera Cup, which we're going to be seeing later on, that all runs on Michelin tyres. They are the tyre brand for that series. And that series is pretty cool because everything is controlled. All the cars are the same, the tyres are the same. There's very minimal tweaks you can make to those cars to make it faster and to get an edge, which results in some pretty epic racing. Absolutely worth checking out. It's not like one team just has a technological advantage and just streaks ahead for the whole season. It is absolutely not like that. So that's the reason we're here. We're here also to try out some of these tyres. So these particular cars here have Pilot Sport 4S on them, which we have run on some of our cars, the Pilot Sport 5s and also the Cup 2s. But the 4S is the right tyre for what we're about to do, which is a wet skid pan.
A little bit of instruction on what not to hit and some demo laps and we are ready to roll. I'm jumping straight into the 911 to try my luck skidding a car that's built back to front.
All right, here we go. Porsche Carrera 911. We are going onto the skid pan with some Pilot Sport 4S on. Let's see what it does. Let's go. Looped it straight away, standard. We fail first up, that's what we do. Give it another go. It feels so interesting having the weight over the back. It's a lot of work on the steering wheel to try and catch it, but it's fun. Oh, no, we'll save it. Skid panning a 911 is challenging. It just wants to grip. It wants to go fast on a racetrack. It doesn't really want to do skids. Have you ever driven a Porsche?
I drove a friend's early generation Boxer on the street once.
Have you ever driven on a skid pan?
No, I own predominantly front wheel drive cars.
Tell me, what's the deal with Phillip Island?
Phillip Island turn 1 is a doozy. So you'll have some people say, oh, like how good's the view at turn 1 at PI? And I'm just like, I've never once seen the view because I'm trying not to die. Like, it's high speed corner, comparable to Sydney Motorsport Park, where turn 1 is very fast. The actual track itself, like obviously we did Sepang, which is F1 Circuit, and you know, that's a really kind of big scale track. But Phillip Island, just in terms of sheer speed everywhere, it's actually quite terrifying to drive. I would say it is scarier than Sepang to drive. I would never have thought I would even drive this, let alone work our way up to anything more.
Our first hot laps of the island will be in a GT4 RS. It's a Cayman and the first modern one to get the RS treatment. It will set you back a cool $312,000 in Australia today, assuming you don't tick all the option boxes. We're all strapped in and we'll be following an instructor who can speak to us via a radio that's piped into our helmets.
It's loud, dudes. This is incredible. Whoa, shit. He's picked up the speed significantly. He's actually in my ear in the helmet and talking us through the track. It's an excellent way to do it. It's so helpful being able to see the braking points as well, like actually physically with another car. Like ghost mode on a game, except with like a proper racing driver. It's so good. Oh, this thing is so aggressive.
All right, try not to crash the very expensive Porsche. Phillip Island, the car's actually surprisingly intuitive, given I've never driven this platform before or at this speed. I've been told to try talk, but it's taking my breath away. Woo!
In my ear, he's so calm. All right, so we're going to swap the order. So Ying's going to go ahead of me, which would be awesome. She'll get a chance to actually follow him rather than follow my lines, which are okay, but his are better. All right, let's go, Ying.
Thanks, Marty.
So we've got about 7 minutes left in the session, so we should get a few more laps left in us.
Oh, it's good to follow. So he brakes quite deep into the corner, and I think that's why I was understeering off before.
The instructor is just picking up the pace ever so slightly and is showing where my shortcomings are in terms of like the lines that I'm picking when I'm just not getting it quite right. Like I didn't double apex that corner properly, so I don't have enough exit speed and I can't keep up. What an experience. The instructor in your ears over the noise of the car, which is brutal. I can't believe there's a car here that's faster than that. So that was the GT4. That was a Cayman.
Yep.
This apparently is faster again. I'm still not coming down off doing 260 flat down here.
Yep. When I looked, I saw 250.
I looked once.
I know I went higher than that, but I wasn't prepared to look at what it was. So
is that the fastest car you've ever driven on a
absolutely.
racetrack? Me too.
100%.
Yeah.
There was definitely one point, I think it's turn 3, just before Honda corner, and the whole time I'm telling myself, the guy, when we were going around the Macan, he said, you can take this flat. It's got the grip, it's got the aero, and so I'm like, take it flat, Ying. Couldn't do it. At the end, I maybe 95% wide open throttle, and I just felt my stomach come into my mouth, and I'm like, that's very fast. Yeah. So, made myself a bit sick.
Yeah, so it's definitely an adrenaline thing, but more than that, it's like intense concentration. And I was saying, I don't know how people keep it up. I remember in Malaysia, even though we're going so much slower, the intensity for so long was a thing, but you had a second to breathe. Because on the straight, it's so slow, you can kind of go, okay, I'm ready for the next lap, and away you go. There's no time.
Yeah.
So anyway, so next, GT3 RS. Probably one of the fastest road registrable cars you can get. That was already a race car, what we were just driving. This is next level again. They put you in that to set you up for this. I guess we'll tell you after. All right, so now we're going GT3 RS, all geared up, got some cameras in there. I don't know if we had to hear anything, guess we'll find out. Let's go. So the instructor's in my ear again. Straight away, the car does feel different. I would say it's more communicative in terms of like, I can feel the track more. It's not, I'm gonna say it doesn't feel as good as the other one to a novice. This bit of the track I really like. Kind of got my head around it, but the back section I'm scared of, I'll be honest. This bit, this definitely has more grip, like more tyre, but It absolutely wants to bite you harder. It really does.
I'm in full focus mode, so I'm not really going to talk that much. Try and keep up with this yellow GT3.
You definitely get more used to it. Like we've done, what, probably 50 or 60 laps now. And you really do start to get used to the speed way more. Monster of a car. Which would you have though? Oh, that's a tough one. Because I know the purists are all about 911s, right? Today the Cayman was better. I'm just going to say it. The Cayman was better. We got tyre top speed. It felt more safe and planted and comfortable. But this thing's a bit of a monster too. It's a road registered track car, let's be honest. I also think, you know, with track racing generally, when you build up to it in your own car, you can really set it up to be comfortable. You can get to know it. You can make, because right now my head's bashed on the seat, my harness is too tight along here, this strap fell off. Like all those sort of things really do affect it when you only get one shot at it. When you get to come back, yes, you got to deal with the breakages and you don't have a team of mechanics who are doing it. Like this is obviously for the type of person who has the money to come and do it and maybe not necessarily the time to build their own car.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, way more brutal, huh?
Yep.
But very
Brutal,
enjoyable.
brutal.
I cannot tell you how good it was to have the instructor in your ear. And follow, that's the best
Yep.
of any experience in any car. If you get a chance to have a race driver in front of you, running you through how to do it, I absolutely suggest that you do.
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
I mean, I've had driver tuition before where the actual instructor is in the seat with you. I felt that was infinitely more helpful. Having it radio, being able to follow lines, braking points, like, okay, cool, he's braking now, I'll brake now. That was such an awesome experience. Really great driver instructor experience as well.
Now, I learnt heaps, and now they're looking at us because they want us to get back on a helicopter. Sucks to be us, because we've got somewhere special to go. All right, we're heading back to the choppers because we have a very limited amount of time in the airspace where we're going. You will see why. It's probably one of the coolest car person days out I think that exists.
At this time of the year, every year, Melbourne City gets transformed as hundreds of thousands of racing fans descend upon the city in everything from their utes with tents on them to their private jets. Just a few minutes tram ride outside the city is Albert Park, which is turned into an F1 circuit. It's a huge event, with the F1 as the main draw card, but there's lots of other racing happening over the weekend as well, including the Carrera Cup Series.
From Phillip Island to Albert Park. Holy shit.
Man.
Wow.
This is fancy!
This is it. Let's go check it out.
Unless you're the TV rights owner or maybe Netflix, you aren't allowed to film at the track. But we got to check out some of the behind the scenes of the pit garages and inner workings of prepping the various race cars.
I am here at the Michelin Motorsport Hub. It's like a workshop on wheels where they fit all the tyres. This is Ebony, you might remember her because she was one of our racing drivers. How does this work? Tell me everything.
So we are here for the first round of the Porsche Carrera Cup at the Formula One Grand Prix, and the boys are here. Most of the work is already done for this weekend because yesterday we had practice, qualifying and the first race. So what you see here is a little bit quieter than usual, but the boys are here. They basically look after all of the tyres across the weekend, manage that with the teams. And so if the guys have any questions or queries, they're coming in here and the boys are here just to provide the best support all around all things Michelin.
She's better at my job than I am. Like, I should just... Here you go.
Sorry.
You can just run Mighty Car Mods and I'll just be over there doing something else.
While wandering around the pits, we bumped into one of Ying's mates from her track days. He drives a Honda and also happens to be a mechanic on one of the leading race cars.
I'm here with Jack. He works at Porsche Centre, Melbourne, but not on normal Porsches.
Not on normal Porsches, no. We work in the race department, so that's a slightly separate department.
Yep.
We obviously work on these three cars for this year. So we've got Harry Jones, Scott Pye and Fabian Coulthard, so two XV8 supercar drivers and one very fast Porsche driver. So that's pretty
awesome.
cool. Yeah,
and
something
so
different.
what's your job title?
So technically my job title is a motorsport technician.
Yep.
This year I'm lead mechanic on Harry's car, so a bit of a step up.
So if anything happens, it's you?
Anything happens, it's me, and then I can trickle down to get help where I need. But yeah, I take most of the direction and the lead on that stuff. Line them up on the grid and all that kind of stuff.
What's a normal race weekend look like? Give me like the 20-second version of like from start to finish.
Start to finish, okay, so like this weekend, Wednesday, setup day, we set up all the pit walling, all the garages.
Yep.
We'll set up our flat patch, so our scales, everything if we need to make adjustments on alignment.
Yep.
And then we roll into Thursday. It's usually our busiest day. So we got practice. F1's a bit different.
Yeah.
We've only got one practice, one qualifying, and then we had a race last night. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll have a race each. F1's a little different. We don't have a race on Sunday, but a normal V8 supercar round, we'll have a race on Sunday. Pack everything up, get out of here.
And go again, and then what, a weekend or 2 weekends later, you're doing it again?
Yep, so in 3.5 weeks, we head to New Zealand, Taupo.
Cool.
So first overseas trip for these cars.
Yep.
Should be pretty good.
I heard a rumour that you have actually raced with Ying at track days. And what do you have? What's your own car?
My own car is a little EK4 Civic, 1996.
Okay. That's where it's at.
Where it's at. So this is my second one.
Yep.
First one got written off on the street, unfortunately. But I love it too much, so I bought another one.
And so tell me a little bit about these race cars, because my understanding is, I know a limited amount about them, but it's a lot about the driver and about how you set them up.
Yep.
Because they're very even compared to other race series where it's like you might have a technical edge, right?
Yeah, completely even.
You buy this from Porsche more or less like this?
Directly from Porsche, and every Porsche Carrera Cup series around the world is exactly the same car. So
you can take this anywhere?
We can take this anywhere. If we want, we can contact a team overseas, North America, Asia, and go, hey, we want to drive, and the cars are exactly the same. So they all roll out of the factory exactly the same. And so basically, more or less, like if you drop down, we've only got like the toe links, we can adjust the suspension, and there's the rear camber shims, and that's it.
Control tyres, control size rims.
Yes, everything's controlled, everything's got barcodes, we're not allowed to modify, change.
Wing you can change?
Wing angle, yep. And that's it. But yeah, they've got like, even if they try and be sneaky and change the profile, they've got tools to check all of that. And
really?
Yeah, so it's really quite controlled.
Do you think that improves the racing?
Absolutely.
Because it's, from what I've seen, it's pretty close.
It's very close. You got to be switched on. You got to know the car quite well. I mean, they're rear-wheel drive cars. I can show you around the back.
Yeah. It's coming
I mean, it's not much, but rear-wheel engine, rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's your peephole.
That's it. It's almost quicker sometimes to drop out the engine than it is to work on the car.
Oh, that's a cool place to keep it. I love that.
So yeah, all carbon fibre.
There it is.
That's it. There's not much there, but
a big old flat engine looks kind of familiar.
Flat 6 NA.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no, so tune-wise, is there much going on with the tune from the factory? Obviously the tunes are the same and locked.
Yes.
But are they turned up?
They all run aftermarket ECUs. You can see it in the back window
Motorsport
there.
Thing, right?
Bosch Motorsport. You can see in the back window there. It's got a dual lock on the ECU.
So you can't pull them out.
And if you cut that and change it, they're going to know about it.
Will they ban you?
It's not banned, but you'll definitely get a big slap on the wrist.
Right, disqualification.
Either disqualification or like grid penalty, time penalty, or championship points as such.
Got it.
So, and you don't really want to mess around with that.
How long for you to get that out?
An hour.
That's pretty good. Race engine fully out, done.
Yeah, fully out, hour.
Is that wheels off, pop shafts, hubs out, drop engine onto a cradle and then drop it onto a stand? So
if you want to drop everything, you can, because they've got the uprights which bolt on. But if you just want to drop the engine without the uprights, it's a little bit more of a process.
You would normally just pull the subframe anyway?
At the workshop, we've just got a big trolley bed, just drop the whole thing.
No way.
And you could, if you really want to hustle with two people, it's like half an hour to an hour.
No way.
So that's what I mean. Like, if you need to get something in the back.
I just noticed the quick connect stuff everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, it's all very fast to get apart.
It does. Like, you can just instantly.
Don't do it.
Done. That's it.
Make sure you plug it back in.
That's it. Yeah.
It's not a Civic.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got to plug everything back in.
Well, it was awesome to meet you.
Pleasure.
It's a very cool job. If someone wants your job, what's the path? How do they get there?
So
what was your path?
My path, I started an apprenticeship with Porsche.
Yep.
At the main dealership, and I
changing oil, sweeping floors.
Yeah, doing the dirty work, but again, you got to put in the hard yards, and then started in the race team doing the dirty work, and just got to work your way up. Yeah. Show a lot of extra interest.
How much is skill versus personality?
It's a good mix. So like the two other main boys that I work with, we gel really well. Yeah. You got to know when to steer clear, or like when to jump in and help out. And
it's something I ask a lot of motorsport mechanics, because I know a lot of the time it's like, who do you want to be spending your time with when it's 3 in the morning and it's a blown motor, and you've got to like that person, if they're hard to work with, they're not going to be around.
You need your boys to help you out when time's tough. You need dig deep. And
I'm guessing the teamwork factor is a nice part of it though, right?
Yeah,
like getting
absolutely.
it done and then having a good result.
Absolutely.
How do you think you're going to go? Front of the pack, middle, back? Do you know?
So yesterday, we first race of the year in first practice, we poled qualifying and took the first race win of the year.
Way.
So we're starting on the front row again. So
I spoke to the right mechanic. It's all you, apparently.
All me. No, it's definitely a lot of teamwork and putting faith in the driver, and then driver putting faith in us as well.
Good on you, man. Well, it's very cool what you do. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All the amount of effort and expertise it takes to get, having pulled enough engines out of enough cars. So no, it's not easy.
Not easy.
It's super cool. But yeah, man, good luck.
Pleasure.
I hope you have a good experience.
Thanks, buddy.
It turns out these racing teams are quite superstitious, and earlier I'd given Jack a Mighty Car Mods lanyard to say thanks for speaking to me. I told him if they started losing, he had to get rid of it. Not long after I spoke to him, his car lined up on the starting grid, led the race and won the round. Safe to say he's held on to it. It was an awesome way to end a pretty extraordinary day out, and it was a great experience. But somehow it makes me even more excited to get back to the shed and work on some cheap nuggets. Turns out there's no helicopter to get me home, so I guess I'm walking.